The Black Donnellys came out 2007 for NBC. It was a short-lived TV series. It was about 13 episodes long. Uh, we were talking previously about good Italian versus Irish, like Miller's Crossing, and this came up. And thinking back, I was like, I think it's a good recommendation for a TV, for something to watch. It's like I said, it was canceled, I think, too soon. You still get a full storyline, like a full story arc, but you just don't get any like real closure. But it's similar, I would say, to The Godfather in many ways, where like at the end of The Godfather, you don't really have closure. You just have like the end of that story arc.
So it ran for a single season
Yeah, 13
in its
episodes.
entirety.
It had a similar. I'm not saying it's as good as Firefly, but it had a similar where like when they played it, they would like show it at random times and like push it back for baseball games and stuff like that. So, but it's about a group of four brothers growing up in Hell's Kitchen, set in modern times. There's a older, established Italian and Irish mafia, and Tommy is the good guy of the brothers, and then he's always trying to keep his other brothers out of trouble. And due to constant like sequence of events in the series, he becomes, I don't want to say a bad guy, but he's becomes more and more involved in crime, and it's the story of him taking over the streets of Hell's Kitchen. I know you guys saw the preview, weren't too impressed. Yours, what was your comment previous about storytelling?
So I feel like I could like what this show is about, but I could tell you 45 seconds into the pilot episode, I had to groan at the way they chose to tell the story.
I agree. I think part of it is that the character is supposed to be annoying, but making the actual opening annoying doesn't really sell you on it, if that makes sense. But
Well, I mean, it closed out, having bookended the pilot episode,
right.
seeing the intro and outro, it closed out in a very similar fashion. Like,
Right.
it closed out like the Where Are They Now section of an 80s movie.
Yeah,
And
that part of the storytelling, I would agree. If like, so it's I think a lot of the episodes do start with him being interviewed in the jail. The guy being Ice Cream or whatever his name is being interviewed in the jail, and it's like, this is how we're going to introduce the episode, and this is how we're going to end the episode. And I do agree that that's not
yeah, they
great.
gave us the Wonder Years, but
Right.
but instead of the disembodied narrator looking back on the events, we get just a needless setup.
Right.
With police interviewing the guy.
That's the actual content is better than what the narrating part.
Oh, so he just do they just bookend the episodes?
Right.
With,
He doesn't narrate the whole thing. It's just the booking the episodes. What makes this is great is that you have character development in like a true, like very similar to Godfather, where he wasn't a bad guy and then he was forced to do bad things. And I like tropes. I like rehashing ideas like that, and that's what Tommy is. Tommy is a guy who's a good guy. He has a girl that likes him, and at some point he has to make a decision if he's going to get the girl, get a normal job, and move on with life, or if he's going to protect his brothers who are involved in crimes. And then the decisions he makes leads to him like the fall of Tommy type situation, where he's just gets deeper and deeper and having to do more horrible things. And since it was only one season, the first season is just him developing his crime organization. And the way they did it, it's not like he's like, I need to establish a crime organization. For example, a bookie dies and his brother decides to act like he's that bookie and like taking all of his bets but not paying them off. Like, so he's like taking all the winnings but not paying out all the, like he's taking all the money. So when anyone wins, he doesn't pay them, but anytime someone loses, he goes and hustles them for money. And then like he has to get them out of that. And like it's just continuously like his brother's making mistakes. Well, not just one, but multiple of his brothers are making mistakes. And there are some.
So are his brothers a bunch of rapscallions and he wants to do a good job but he just can't help but have to clean up after his
Right.
brother.
There's the brother who's legitimately bad. There's the brother who has the devil in him type thing, where he's just ornery and like finds a way to get himself in trouble. And then there's the young, innocent brother that they're all protecting. Like, of all the brothers, the innocent, like, it's kind of like Four Brothers.
Yes, the classic landmark achievement in modern filmmaking.
Well, the Western too, like more of that direction. But yeah, character development is excellent. I think it's been a while since I've seen it, but the actual, other than the opening monologues, the acting was really good at the time. It was in 2007. It definitely had a different feel from other shows coming out. Like, it was more movie-ish in its delivery. They had a good cast. Everything was good. Olivia Wilde, this was where she made her mark, and then when it got canceled, she moved on to House. But yeah, if you like mobster movies, this is, I would say, a must watch. It appears that YouTube has all the episodes for free. It's not on Netflix, what I've seen. It's like $15 for the box set, and it'd be hard for me to push someone to go that direction. But if you can somehow manage to watch it for free, or if you really are into like gangster movies, then this would be probably a good $15 purchase.
Now, does the whole thing play out like it has a very how about, it has like a 90210 feel to it?
No, it's plays out more like each episode is someone gets in trouble, and it continues the main story arc.
I mean, you're describing modern television right now.
Right. It doesn't have like the 90210, like the love between him and Olivia Wilde. It's not a main story. It's like the scenes you see is like him having to make the decision to not have her, and then like regretting it, and not being able to explain to her why he did the things he did.
I see. I was taking care of my brothers. The end.
Yeah. So after the first episode, now there's the young Italian, like a person that's Tommy's age, is now in charge of the Italian mob, and the Irish mob has no representative, and there's people pulling for power, and it's very interesting how Tommy does not want the power, but is pulling it to himself, and the people who want the power are like being outdone by him, and it's very.
Now, is he just the chosen one destined for power, or do his misguided actions in other directions keep pushing him up?
It's more like he's operating on a higher level. Like, he just, like, it's one of those ones, if this guy wanted to be in charge of a mob, he would do it right. Like, he's really good at what he does, but he just tries to resist it at all times.
So it's a grudging acceptance of his destiny.
Right.
Like, what we got going.
He does things out of necessity to protect his family, but he's running circles around the older generation that are trying to, like, just willfully put power, and he's just outdoing them at every step of the way, and fearless at the same time.
Okay, I have to ask. You are the guy who got 5 minutes into Breaking Bad and then turned it off. I can't watch this nonsense.
That's not what happened at all.
Oh, man.
All right,
Actually, that's okay.
Correct my story, please.
So we put in Breaking Bad, and the first 5 minutes are intense and awesome. Correct? Like, it's just where he gets out of the
first
car.
first 5 seasons,
because they're
is
rolling.
more
Right, the
fun.
whole thing is amazing, and I will watch Breaking Bad.
There has
But
been no
the
better work of serial
issue
fiction.
with me is if I know how things end, I don't care for them. I just lose it. I can't. I don't. It's games, movies, everything. If I know how they end, I just, like, 75% of my interest is gone. And
Wait a
it's my
minute.
fault.
So, like, The Passion of the Christ.
Didn't watch it.
What? You're like,
yeah. I know that.
Titanic.
I know that's
Can't do it.
on me. I understand that's a flaw I have, but I don't
Yeah,
know
but
what it is. I'm going to watch Breaking Bad. That is going to happen. I promise that I will watch it. It's just at the moment I can never get myself to watch it because I I don't have it in me. Like,
yeah. Well, it is true that
watch
it
Breaking
doesn't-
Bad before you watch this.
Yeah.
For sure.
I will tell you, every episode of Breaking Bad doesn't open with an interview and then a narrator carefully laying out the story, and it doesn't close up with a wrap up of more narrator kind of summarizing the story for you. So it may not have that for you.
I understand, but
Well, this is a challenge that all TV shows face. How do you establish a large number of characters very quickly? And how do you do that? Let me ask you.
the best way I would say is that you don't force it. You just have a story being told, and when a person comes, you introduce them. I don't.
Do you not agree that this is forced?
Oh, it's absolutely forced. Like, it's unnecessary.
Like borderline
you could.
unwatchably.
I'm very interested if you just cut out his dialogue. If you would because you don't need to know anything. I think that they were probably very proud of how they thought about it. Like, it seems like they're like, ooh, we got this good gimmick that we're going to bookend with this annoying guy talking. But
If he had even used a different tone of voice, it may have passed. If he had sounded like a beleaguered, rundown inmate, it could have passed. But instead he said, it all started back when I was
yeah,
nine.
like when they immediately jumped to
It was
No,
that's awful.
I know.
You can't do that.
It's
I agree with you completely, but it doesn't take away from the excellent story that is told.
See, so here is where this comes in. There are a couple of parts to storytelling. One is the story itself, the plot, the characters, and what they do. Two is how you tell that story.
And I can, when both are good, I can acknowledge it, but I can sacrifice either one and still enjoy it.
I think
that
that
make
if
sense?
the
Like,
method of storytelling is broken, I have not seen an entire episode of this series, but from what I have seen, the method of storytelling, I can see how it got canceled. How about that? I won't say it's not great, but I can see a network letting
I
it go.
can tell you in 2007, it was the best series I saw.
I could tell you that after seeing parts of the first episode, I'm shocked that it got a full season. I have a hard time imagining that, honestly.
I think you guys don't recall what TV
I
was
can't-
like early, like in 2007. Like
2007
Bios-
Heroes was out, Lost was out, and
Sopranos had wrapped
as
up.
bad as those shows ended up being,
right.
they defined the single camera TV show and blow this away. Technically, anyway.
And I would say also by storytelling devices, they definitely were way more appealing to people.
At the very least in the pilot. But yeah, anyway, those shows fell apart very quickly, as a matter of fact. Now here's the shocker to me is that there's an image of a peacock burned in the bottom left corner. It's an NBC show, and everything about this show screams CW. Are you a CW watcher?
It's not the CW.
We have
promise
a bunch
you.
of good-looking young
Yeah.
men. There's the good-looking young women as well. And then there's the poppy soundtrack. How is that a good thing or bad thing to you?
Well,
Because I see that and it makes me want
there
to
is
turn the show off.
gratuitous violence in this. I don't think CW does. Like,
Yeah,
there's a scene where a guy's getting destroyed. Like, they have to dispose of a body, and he uses a sledgehammer to do it. There's a knife fight that
Mhm.
never gets completely explained, but the
Tuned to soft pop tunes while the narrator wraps
no,
up the story
there's
for us.
so there's a they never explain, but there's a scene. The violence is very strong, and I wouldn't say that's CW. I understand the tone of some of the tone of the show. The parts that you saw was kind of questionable, but the actual story is good. Like, it's a good like the things that they do are good. I understand that, like, it's a little dated, but I'm not like that doesn't affect me. Like I would like to know what happened to these characters, and that's at the end. I don't care if the delivery is dated or
I can't do it though, because anytime I see something like this, like these shortcuts in storytelling, it's just an indicator of the rest of the process. You can't have a great script with bad storytelling. The two don't mix because they
well,
all.
the person who wrote this is the guy who wrote $1 Million Baby and Crash. So he
All right,
does
well,
have some.
neither of
chops.
those are great movies.
Yeah, I was going to say
Okay.
it's two of the most overrated
Right.
movies.
But I mean, he does have some writing chops. It's not like some
Sure.
TV exec. So, I mean, sure, like some scenes are overacted, but I still think that the premise would be a good movie and in the, like, it's a good story. I understand that the delivery might be questionable, but like things like that tend to not bother me. Like Wanted.
It's a symptom. This is my problem. It's a symptom. When you hear the poppy soundtrack, it shows me the intentions of the storytelling, and it's impure. Does that make sense? The actors are all they're 18 to 23, handsome, right? Do you get that what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I understand. I would be interested to see if this story was retold now with a more progressive, like this is how you like, like Breaking Bad has established this is how you make TV. I'm not saying emulate Breaking Bad, but now that we know that TV can be better, I'd be interested because it's the story. Like I really like the story. I don't know how. I mean, I understand the presentation can be quite. Most of the show is good and presentable. It's probably, like Law and Order level, if that makes sense. Like it's not great, but it's good enough.
Oh, no.
I've never seen
Yeah,
Law and Order, so I can't comment.
Not a single episode either. I got nothing.
What? You
Nothing.
don't know like the Bum Dick Wolf and then like
I know that sound clip.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Sure.
like
yeah, like
I'm
Law and
aware
Order,
of pop culture.
Law and Order marathons where like you are going to only watch one more and then the bum happens, so you're sucked into another hour because
How do you have
Your
time to
programs.
watch that though?
unemployed for 8 months. It
Yeah,
happens.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Like you watch a lot of things.
All right.
You know
that'll
what?
do it.
I've never seen a Law and Order, but from what I've seen of it, it seems to be the same kind of show as a Star Trek, right? Like it opens with a puzzle of some sort, and then the characters solve it over the course of the episode. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I probably would enjoy Law and Order, but I just haven't.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I haven't watched
the
it.
big issue with Law and Order is if there's anyone famous on there, they did it. Like,
Oh yeah.
oh, Robin Williams is here. I'm sure he's innocent.
Mhm.
No, he did it.
Yeah.
But
That's
no,
unfortunate. Yeah.
I guess, I mean, I still recommend it. I think that it's a good story that I wish would have been completed, and maybe they would have matured. Like,
What percentage of scenes from this story are shot in front of like lockers in a high school hallway?
0.
What? Are you sure?
Yeah, it's not that type of. It's like
It
there's a scene where a girl's begging to not be told. Like, so she's married. She has a gambling addiction. The brother with the limp is going to go pay out on it. They're harassing her, and then she's like, "I'll blow you if you don't tell my husband." And like the Tommy's like, "No, we're not going to do that." And then like the brother with the limp's like smiling, like, "Yeah, let's get this done." So it's not. It's very adult in content. I understand that.
Yeah, but I mean,
Shrug.
yeah, that was a shrug. I mean, adult content with adolescent storytelling.
They're not
is adolescent content.
like Tommy and the girl are the only real love story. Everything else is people pulling for power and like violence. And I mean, I think it's a good installment. It could have been done better. Obviously, it didn't get picked up, but it was really good.
Okay, so tell me if this is right or wrong. If you watch the CW, like The Flash, I think the CW.
Oh, no,
No?
that's
All right,
not.
what
well,
about Batman Kids?
If you watch the CW, you like the show.
If you like Law and Order is probably the equivalent acting, the equivalent tone and acting.
Okay.
Like,
Are all of the Law and Orders the same? I haven't seen it.
yeah, it's dialogue and people making like the cops always like split between having to do the right thing or the right thing type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that the equivalent acting and presentation is Law and Order, with less poppy music from the time. But that's not the like the story is good. I promise. Like it's a really good story. You see the struggles and pulls and the fall of Tommy, and I really like it.
Okay.
Would you forgive me if I told you I'm probably not going to watch this?
No, I just fine. Like I like, it's more for people who, need like a good, like weekend fix of some mobster stuff.
How do you address, if you're telling somebody to watch this show, how do you address the fact that it only has one season and it's not coming back?
I would say that it has a resolved story arc. The main story arc for that season closes, and the ending is very similar to The Godfather, where you have all the current issues being resolved, but a few more issues having to be dealt with.
Right. They don't answer everything. It sets up for a sequel, you might say, or in this case, a second season.
Right, but you get resolution on the main issues from the first season.
Have we checked for a Kickstarter to revise this show?
No. I don't know. I would say, I don't know. Like the pilot, while part of it was corny, I really like that is a good, the pilot is, if you just watch the pilot and you didn't like the pilot, you can stop watching. How about that? Like that's a good.
How many seconds into something can you be compelled to release a deep sigh and still want to continue watching?
Okay. So for example, Breaking Bad. The
first season was not very successful.
For Breaking Bad, correct me if I'm wrong, it's about Bryan Cranston's character,
Walter White,
trying to make money by dealing drugs.
That is so reductive.
Actually, he will tell you himself he's not a dealer. He's a manufacturer.
All right, so he manufactured drugs, and then as the story, I'm not, spoiler alert if there is any, he progresses into like a gangster boss. Like he's the boss of the organization, and he like gets more and more evil. And
I don't think so.
That would be one way to simplify it for the sake of conversation. Yes.
right.
One way
he is not, however, a boss of anything ever. Again, spoiler.
Right, but I'm saying like he calls the shots at some, like he starts as like just this guy trying to be a manufacturer, and then like he rises to power.
He makes a lot of money and he gets his hands very dirty, but
No rise to power.
He never has anybody under him.
There's never a throne that he sits on.
Except for, I guess, the Aaron Paul character. He would
Yeah.
be the only one.
Okay.
He has a protege, Jesse, who he inadvertently destroys.
Right. So with that, I know there's going to be side stories about, like his wife and his kids and all that stuff, but the main story is he's a drug manufacturer.
The main story is his wife and his kids and his cancer.
Right.
That's true.
If you watch all 5 seasons of Breaking Bad, if you started Breaking Bad at season 5, you would say, hey, why hasn't this series gone to the good guy yet? Where the hell is the good guy? I need a good guy. If you watch from the beginning, though, for some reason you are rooting for Walter White at the end of it. But it is very clear that by the end that he is not the good guy. He's not a kingpin, but he is not the good guy.
Okay. I have to go there.
We forgive him.
He is a good guy. He only does what he has to do. Right?
He's a demon.
No.
He's a monster.
No,
But
he's
we
not a
forgive
monster.
him because we saw his transformation.
I would never call him a monster. I would say he never did anything unjustified for the sake of, his own sadistic needs.
Yeah,
Right.
remind me never to piss you
Was
off.
the transformation like a good part of the, like, is that like that transition part of the genius of it, or like the reason you watch is to
The
see
entire
him?
show. I can't think of a bad thing to say about this show. I'm being totally honest.
I understand,
I
but
cannot think of one.
is the fall of Cranston compelling? Walter White compelling.
A lot of people don't like the Fly episode.
It was that episode did like make you feel
I
like
guess
you're
that's a
grinding your
bad
teeth.
thing. Although it was directed by Ryan Johnson,
It's
so it's got that little fun trivia fact
yeah,
for you.
it is a teeth. There are episodes that'll make you grind your teeth the entire time. Like the show will carry you emotionally everywhere you wanted to go.
What was your question?
Yeah,
I mean, no, I was just saying like so when I see Breaking Bad and it starts out and I go okay, and then if I had watched it from the beginning, I would probably be more compelled. But when I'm trying to catch up and I know, from scenes I've seen, I know that he's becoming more and more of a bad guy or doing however you want to say it.
Well, that kind of is the title of the show.
Yeah, Breaking Bad. Right.
Right.
I understand. I just there's no urgency for me to watch it because I don't.
you don't want to see the greatest piece of fiction.
What I don't need to see is something that I know is occurring. Like I understand that there's the side parts or not side. The main story is him and his family's interaction. Those things tend to not pull me in. Like I don't need that. I want to see dynamics between like power struggles and stuff like that. I don't need to see
It's very clear that you haven't seen this show.
Yes.
And I think it's kind of pointless for us to even talk to you about it.
Okay.
I'll be honest, because you are describing the perfect show for you. Right? Like that's everything you say. It's like, I don't want to see that. I want to see this. And it's like, well, guess what?
Yeah.
All right, I'll
That's
watch
what it is.
Yeah, I don't want to see what I think is in Breaking Bad. I want to see what's
All
actually
right, I'll
in it.
watch
This
it.
is,
and we'll
like, if I had everything you've said about stuff that you like, include today especially, this is
I'm
the
not
show
saying
for
it's
you.
not a
Like
good
you
show.
are
I'm
the
just saying-
target audience for this show.
I'm just saying I just like I watch I just don't feel the urgency to watch it. Maybe okay, there is another part of me who doesn't like I like to leave things that are good on the shelf rather than use them, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like
There are a couple Stanley Kubrick films that I haven't seen.
and
right?
or like when I'm playing a game, I won't play the ending because then it's still not ended. Or if there's a
What?
TV series I'm watching, I know that's been canceled, I won't watch the last episode, and that makes it so it still exists. And like part of that happens to me with series. If I haven't watched the series, it's still available for me, and I have this gem just waiting for me. But if I watch it, then I've exhausted it. So that's another.
It's kind of contradictory to what you've been saying.
Yeah. I think I would watch all 50 hours of Breaking Bad again also. Like it's so good. But by the way, with everything negative you've said for why you wouldn't watch Breaking Bad, how does that not apply to the Black Donnellys?
Well, no, I was saying the Black Donnellys, I had no idea where it was going. So when you watch it, like there's.
I can tell you right now, you have no idea where Breaking Bad is going, just based on what you said.
Okay.
So you have that going for you. I promise.
All right. I promise I'll probably watch it and be like, okay, this is what I thought it was. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. So there's that.
Okay.
I might not be articulating what
Yeah, I wanna hear that.
You can lead a horse to water.
Right. I'm going to watch it. It's not like I'm not saying it's not the best show ever. I'm not compelled to watch it.
I
Watch
can't
Breaking
wait.
Bad before you watch Black Donnellys.
Once you start Breaking Bad, I want you to come to me after each episode. Well, after each 4 episodes, this show kept me up late many a night
Right.
because it's like watch one more, like we'll just one more, and then we'll go to sleep, and then it's 3:00.
They had a Breaking Bad marathon. This is a couple of years ago now, but it was over the course of, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. And it was like 16 hours a day. It was crazy. And I DVR'd all of it. And I asked my mom to watch the pilot episode with me. And because my intention was to go back and watch the entire thing. And I thought, well, maybe she'd want to see this too. And she outpaced me for the rest of the series. Like I would tell her, she wouldn't even wait for me to come watch it. Like she watched 5 seasons of TV in probably 6 days.
That's amazing.
It's ridiculous.
How long are the
I've
seasons for
I've
Breaking
never
Bad?
told her to watch anything that she enjoyed. She hates everything I tell her. Anyway,
Is it 13 1-hour seasons?
10 1-hour episodes a season.
Okay.
I think it's
No.
50 episodes,
Okay.
isn't it?
something like that.
Okay.
And now that I've said it, I'm not confident, but I believe it's like 50 episodes.
What I really want to do is, I might have mentioned this before, I want to just watch Saul, or Better Call Saul, and then like talk to people about Call Saul. Like everyone talk about Breaking Bad. It's like, man, there's this new show, Better Call Saul. It's amazing. You guys need to watch it. And they're
Yeah.
like, well, what about Breaking Bad? I'm like, nah, Better Call Saul though.
Yeah. Breaking Bad, never heard of it, but there's this lawyer on Better Call Saul.
Yeah,
and
he's
like,
awesome. Yeah, like that's what
Yeah.
I want to do, just to be like the troll at work, just like
And he has this like ex-cop partner that's really badass.
yeah,
I hope he makes it through the show.
just like go to the water fountains. Like, did you see the last episode of Better Call Saul? Oh my gosh, don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin it for me. I got a DVR. Just
Right.
do it that way. It's probably also, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Mhm.
And it's a prequel, right?
It's a prequel,
so I
yeah.
should watch Better Call Saul and then that to watch it properly.
maybe reviews
Or
I
not.
read. I haven't seen an episode of Better Call Saul yet, but reviews I've read for it, apparently it stands on its own.
Oh, nice.
Apparently, it's a good series.
It's the same tone. Is it the
I-
same writers?
I think it. I think parts of the creative team behind Breaking Bad returned for Better Call Saul.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the reason I bring it up is because Black Donnellys is like a children's version of Breaking Bad from what we saw.
I would agree to that. Like it's
The show is clearly aimed at a younger audience. Believe it or not,
Yes,
it is clearly aimed at a much younger audience.
It's for the kids who are about done with high school dramas and getting ready to watch grown-up shows. Like, that's
Yeah, it's the show that comes on after Glee.
there you go. Exactly. Yeah, for the kids whose bedtime is a bit later.
Yeah.
That would be similar. Okay, I'm not defending any of this, but these are the facts. I don't like the CW is for not for kids the age of the people watching the CW or that are in the CW. I feel like
It's for the pedophiles.
right.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
kind of the feeling I got with the show too.
right. Like so yeah, I've never like the CW is weird. Like it's about teenagers, but I'm pretty sure it's more like 30 to 50-year-old women watching it than anything else.
It's people that look back at high school and say, I wish I would have
Yeah,
done that thing.
Yeah, like Uncle Rico's. If I could build a time machine, I'd go back to
Yeah.
1982. We'd take state.
Right, exactly. So yeah, so I don't really think there is that much of similarity. I see some of it possibly, but it's not as bad as the CW. I'm kind of like I do like the superhero movie things because I'm a dork, but other than that, I'm not a big CW fan.
Weird.
Okay.
I've never heard a grown man say, other than that, I'm not a big CW fan. That's the first for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, like I will watch The Flash and I will watch Arrow, and I understand that it has some CW-esque things about it, but I'm watching it because it's the Arrow and Flash and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in general, the CW delivery type is not built for me. Like I'm just like rolling my eyes most of the time.
I want you to know that that's the delivery type we just witnessed today.
It's really not the same. Like I will attest to that. It's not the same. Like it's not a whole bunch of dumb kids doing dumb things and making bad. Like it's not like that. It's has more of it has a better delivery than CW.
All right. So this is, how many episodes were there in the first season?
13.
13. So, and they're hour long?
I believe so.
Or-
Yes.
Yeah, hour long. So it's kind of like, and this is a loose comparison, it's kind of like Das Boot, right?
No, because that was too grown up for me.
Right. Well, anyway, if I were you, I would suggest this in the same way that I might suggest Das Boot, right? It's like a 6-hour movie.
Right.
If you want to watch a really long movie, don't even think of it as a TV show.
Yeah, that'd be-
there you go. Like if you want a way to kill a Saturday or a Sunday, that this might be it.
Yeah, that's how I
Right.
would recommend it. Like I wouldn't like unless you really are into like the like the gangster theme movies, like it's not a must watch, but if you are, it has a bunch of tropes that you will enjoy.